They got the pharmaceutical companies back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it! Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power! Fight the power!
Shine, flies, no time to waste while it's passing you by. Shine, flies, be patient, 'cause good things happen in time. We gon' get it right, we gon' get it right, we gon' get it right. We gon' get it right.
Protests and anthems, yes, we chanting a movement of people. It's like we dancing to the ministry of. It's the energy of, in memory of them that we love. The trinity of the people, the peace, the power, the truth. We speak the powers even louder. We can say it blacker, we can say it prouder. A woman vice president that went to Howard. Now we talk helping black businesses, and our differences is magnificent. Bringing light to the poor and where the prisons is. I was so good like this where forgiveness lives. The ascension is to leave what's left behind and feed the seeds for G's that bless the mind, caress the mind, and question justify with you and God in time, my best align.
Shine, flies, no time to waste while it's passing you by. Shine, flies, be patient, 'cause good things happen in time. We gon' get it right, we gon' get it right. We gon' get it right. We gon' get it right.
How can I be a better father, son, a better grandson, honoring Fannie Lou's and the Fred Hamptons, the Harriets, the chariots that carry us to various areas that marry us to progress. Yeah, we the harvest, the lovely days and midnight marauders, even through charges and days of darkness. No, we in the hands of the greatest artists. I see it in the waters, I see it in our daughters. They can be bridges that know no borders. For so long, them folk try to ignore us. When we at the ballot box, it's a vote for us. Peace to Stacey and the people of Georgia, who galvanize so that we can move forward. Steps are ordered with the presence of mind. Everything's more beautiful in time.
Shine, flies, no time to waste while it's passing you by. Shine, flies, be patient, 'cause good things happen in time. We gon' get it right, we gon' get it right. We gon' get it right. We gon' get it right.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, your host and White House correspondent. I'm in touch, and so you be in touch. Follow me on all the social media platforms at Dr. Nii-Quartelai. Just type in Dr. Nii-Q, DRNIIQ. And there I am, fresh for you to follow. Also, be sure to download the KBLA app to listen to us live or on demand, or if you're feeling fancy, just tell Alexa to play KBLA Talk 1580, and there we are for your listening pleasure. Last but not least, subscribe to A More Perfect Union podcast. That way you'll never miss an episode. Now, on this busy news day, so much happening in Washington that you're going to want to know. It's time for you to decide the good, bad, and ugly headlines of the day. Kicking us off, let me just tell you this. I can't think of the last time there was an overwhelming vote like this in Washington. The U.S. House voted 427-1 to release the Epstein files in a rare bipartisan move. People Magazine and so many other outlets are reporting that the U.S. House of Representatives has voted to demand the release of the Epstein files after years of controversy surrounding the sealed documents, which reportedly include information about the investigations into convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, who died in jail in 2019. The House passed its bill in a near unanimous 427-1 vote today, with Louisiana Republican Representative Clay Higgins being the only House member to vote against the measure. But while the House voted to release the records, the bill still has to pass through the Senate and then has to be signed by the president in order to go into effect. The vote comes after months of pressure from lawmakers to release the files, including calls from Georgia Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, a Republican firebrand who has escalated her efforts to unseal the documents in recent weeks. Right before we went on air, the Associated Press reporting that Congress has in fact acted swiftly to force the release of these Epstein files. At this hour, we know that both the House and the Senate have acted decisively to pass this bill to force the Justice Department to publicly release its files on the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Again, this is a pretty remarkable display of approval for an effort that has struggled for months to overcome opposition from President Trump and Republican leadership. When a small bipartisan group of House lawmakers introduced this petition in July to maneuver around Speaker Johnson's control of the House floor, it appeared to be a long shot effort, especially as Trump urged his supporters to dismiss the matter as a hoax. But both Trump and Speaker Johnson, they really failed. They failed to prevent this vote. They didn't want this vote to happen. And the president in recent days, he bowed into the political reality, saying he would sign the bill. And then just hours after the House voted, senators agreed to approve it unanimously, skipping a formal roll call vote. And so we shall see how swiftly President Trump does what he says he was going to do, which is sign this bill into law and allow for the full release of the Epstein files. Speaking of Epstein, you know, Jeffrey Epstein has a brother, and Jeffrey Epstein's brother claims that he heard from a pretty good source that the Epstein files are being scrubbed of Republican names. And so, yes, the files are getting ready to be released, but there's still questions as to whether, you know, how much of the files are going to be redacted, meaning they're going to strip away the names of any individual victims, but they may not stop there. They may also strip the names of Republicans who want no part of this. Mark Epstein has claimed that the files on his late brother, convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, are allegedly being edited to remove names of Republicans. People Magazine and other sources are reporting that in a phone interview with News Nation today, Mark claimed that he had been told by an unnamed source that the names of conservative politicians were being redacted from the long-awaited Epstein files. Mark's comments come shortly after President Trump encouraged House Republicans to vote to release the files, a shocking reversal from his previous opposition to do so. Now, was it really a reversal? Let's go pause for a second. Was this really a reversal, or did the president and his team understand that the vote was coming down the pike and the vote was going to be so overwhelming that they had no choice but to publicly lean into it? So you know, it's been reported as, you know, a shocking reversal from his previous opposition. I'm not buying that storyline. I think he read the tea leaves, he read the writing on the wall, and said that he was going to lean into it. But back to Mark Epstein, he claimed that the Trump administration's sudden shift is because files are being edited, so they're no longer incriminating for Republicans in power. And so this is a very interesting theory. Again, so far we're hearing this from Mark Epstein, the brother of Jeffrey Epstein. We know that also during the interview, Mark alleged that his brother had compromising information about Trump in 2016, the year that Trump was running for his first term in office. Mark claimed that Jeffrey told him around that time that the information he had on the candidates would be damning enough to cancel the election. Mark Epstein says, quote, "He didn't tell me what he knew, but Jeffrey definitely had dirt on Trump." Mark's comments come after months of public scrutiny of the Trump administration for delaying the release of the files related to Jeffrey's crimes and death, and increased calls for transparency. Also, multiple reports since Trump's second inauguration have claimed that the president's name appears in the files. Jeffrey and Trump had a documented friendship for years prior to the disgraced financier's arrest and downfall. And so it's interesting, President Trump has been playing down this relationship, saying that they didn't have a relationship. They didn't really know him, that he didn't travel to, Epstein's Island today during a presser in the Oval Office. The president was heard saying that, when he found out that Epstein, was, I'm trying to remember the words the president used, but essentially, behaving badly with folks at his club in Mar-a-Lago, that was sort of the end of that. Or was it? I think there's a lot of things we're going to discover in these files that are going to be, make a lot of people, including but not limited to the President of the United States, rather uncomfortable. When we come forward, we're switching gears. I'm delighted to welcome Dr. Jonathan Collins, Associate Professor of Political Science at Columbia University. He'll be joining me to offer his reaction to this really overwhelming vote in Congress today. And then a little bit later, we'll talk about some other news that you should know about involving the Saudi prince and more. You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or play. Stop, opt out.
Hey man, how did the date go?
I had to cancel. I don't get paid until Friday.
You didn't know that you can get up to a $750 paycheck advance with the current app?
Where was that information yesterday?
All you have to do is download the app, see if you qualify. $750. Boom.
You think I should call her back?
Yeah.
I'm going to do it.
All right.
Need money before payday? Current has you covered. Set up an eligible direct deposit to see if you qualify for a paycheck advance of up to $750. Get ahead with Current. Text ACTION to 323232 to sign up today. That's ACTION to 323232. ACTION to 323232. ACTION to 323232.
Paycheck advance is offered by FindCo Advance LLC, a financial technology company, not an FDIC-insured bank. Eligibility and available amounts may vary and are subject to change at any time. For full terms and conditions, visit current.com or call 1-888-851-3177 for more information.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. Let me be clear about what we're witnessing here. A textbook case of talking about communities instead of talking with them. Pedro Pizarro, president and CEO of Edison International, found time this week to sit down with the LA Times to discuss their so-called fast pay program for those impacted by the Altadena Eaton Canyon fire. We think it is neither fast nor fair, but when we organized the community town hall, Southern California Edison first confirmed participation and then abruptly canceled. There was no time available on Mr. Pizarro's calendar for a face-to-face conversation with the individuals and families who have lost everything due to the negligence of Southern California Edison. This is not an accident. This is a choice about who deserves direct engagement and who gets managed through press statements. When you talk to the LA Times about people, you control the narrative. You get to frame the issues on your terms, with your spin, filtered through journalists who may or may not push back. But when you show up to a town hall, you face real questions from real people experiencing real problems. There's no PR buffer. There's real accountability. This pattern of being available to corporate media, but unavailable for community dialogue, sends a clear message about whose voices matter and whose don't. It's the kind of disrespect that hides behind busy schedules and prior commitments, but the community sees right through it. If these issues are important enough to discuss with the LA Times, they're important enough to discuss directly with the people living them. Anything less isn't just disrespectful, it's a fundamental failure of leadership and accountability. Mr. Pizarro says in the LA Times interview, I need to go to the supermarket in Pasadena or Altadena and be able to look people in the eye. We want to do the right thing for our community. You had a chance to look folk in the eye at our town hall meeting last week, but you didn't show up. And then we invited you for a one-on-one conversation here at the station, but you have yet to confirm. So please stop with the gaslighting. With the KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley, and as always, we welcome your feedback.
Hit me! National News, The Consequence, informed opinion, and analysis beyond the headlines. You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, and there is Dr. Jonathan E. Collins, Associate Professor of Political Science at Columbia University. He is also a frequent contributor here on A More Perfect Union, a man in demand. Welcome back, Dr. Collins.
Dr. Nee, great to see you.
Well, it's always great to see you, and especially on a busy news day like this, where there are a lot of major headlines that are swirling. I mentioned at the top of the show that rarely do you see such an overwhelming bipartisan vote in Congress, especially these days. I shared just moments ago that the U.S. House voted 427-1 to release the Epstein files, since right before we went on air, the Senate has also acted decisively with a voice vote to do the same. And so this bill is heading at lightning speed to President Trump's desk. What do you make of this rare unity that we're seeing on Capitol Hill? And we even saw the president sort of lean into it in recent days, encouraging folks to vote to release them. It's my sense that there's a caveat somewhere. You don't fool me, Mr. President. There's a caveat somewhere. I think he read the writing on the wall and said, this is going to be such an overwhelming vote. I can't twist the arms like I used to. We got to lean into this. But plot twist, People Magazine reporting on a conversation that Jeffrey Epstein's brother, Mark, had with News Nation with a claim that the Epstein files are being scrubbed of Republican names. And so might that explain the sudden overwhelming support from Republicans, including this president? Dr. Collins, what do you make of this?
Well, I think there are two parts of the story. There's the good part and there's the bad part. And I want to celebrate the good part. And the good part is, Dr. Nee, bullying works. Bullying works, right? The Democrats have been talking about the release of the Epstein files for months. Not only have Democrats been talking about it, there have even been key Republicans who have been talking about the release of the Epstein files. This even goes back to the campaign, right? When there were allegations aimed at Donald Trump, questioning his association with Jeffrey Epstein, even questioning, this gets into tinfoil hat conspiracy theory, but questioning the role of the president in the self-transition of Jeffrey Epstein inside the prison walls. And so, the fire around this had gotten too big to contain. And this tells us that it reached a boiling point where Republicans just felt like they can't ignore this anymore. They have to do something to try to appease the public. Now, here comes the bad news. we've already seen with the first round of the release of the Epstein files that came out a few months ago, that they have been redacting all kinds of, identifying information from the files themselves, to where the first batch that we saw was pretty much useless. It didn't tell us anything that we didn't already know. It didn't reveal any information about anybody who we didn't know was already associated with Epstein. And it didn't tell us, anything that dug deeper into the really vile accusations that Epstein was found guilty of. And so it makes you think that what we're going to see is more of the same. We're going to see a lot of redaction around the files that are released, and it's going to be Trump again trying to take another victory lap, making it seem as if he appeased a base around an issue that he has been running from since day one.
And speaking of his base, I mean, I saw video of Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, who has seemed to have had a political transformation of sorts in recent months, not just related to the Epstein files, but her position on the subsidies, healthcare subsidies from the Affordable Care Act, among other issues that she previously was MIA on. Talk to us about the MAGA factor and Trump's decision, Trump's decision to lean into this. Was part of it an act of self-preservation for the MAGA movement? We know MAGA is unhappy about this economy. MAGA is unhappy about their healthcare costs going up. MAGA is unhappy about Trump saying one thing on the campaign trail, but doing another as president when it comes to the full transparency of these Epstein files. How much of the Republicans' reaction in this moment is about getting the MAGA band together again as they're heading into the 2026 midterm elections?
Well, what we're seeing right now with Marjorie Taylor Greene and the Republican Party is reminiscent of Notorious B.I.G.'s second album, Life After Death, because that is what Marjorie Taylor Greene is thinking about right now. Life after the death of Donald Trump's political career. She is trying to strategically position herself as the next face of the Republican Party. And she's doing so not by, following her rise to fame, which is pretty much being a Trump crony, into actually being a Trump adversary in a way. And so this is just the most recent episode. Marjorie Taylor Greene finds herself oddly on the side of the Democrats when it comes to healthcare subsidies during the shutdown debate. It's Marjorie Taylor Greene who has been critical of Trump on foreign policy and foreign aid and his stance on Gaza. And now you have the Epstein file situation where she's been kind of the drum major, dare I say, drum major for justice on this issue.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, AKA drum major for justice.
I know. I feel like
Dr. Collins, I think we've just entered the Twilight Zone.
I know. I can feel my Morehouse degree getting revoked.
Oh my goodness. But look, I mean, this isn't the only news today that has people feeling like maybe we're in the Twilight Zone. I'm sure you saw that Saudi's Crown Prince made a big visit to the White House today. In the Oval Office, President Trump told reporters during his meeting with Mohammed bin Salman, Saudi Arabia's de facto leader, that the Crown Prince knew nothing about the murder of Jamal Khashoggi, contradicting U.S. intelligence. That wasn't the only headline that came out of this meeting today with the Crown Prince, but what do you make of that?
It's what we see in going on with the Trump visits to Saudi Arabia is, paying to play. So what's happening here is, Trump is on a mission to bring back dollars to the U.S. So, in the backdrop of all of this is an economy that is tanking, right? We have this inflation problem that is just deepening. It's getting even worse. It's gotten so bad that Trump is, somewhat clandestinely, removed and reversed some of the tariffs that have been responsible for deepening the hole that we're in economically, right? So he's acknowledging the fact that the economy is in shambles. He's going to Saudi Arabia essentially to beg for money, right? So he's got this promise of the Saudi Arabian, Saudi prince investing, I think, over $1 trillion into the U.S., but it comes at a cost, right? Like, it's giving bought and paid for, because the Jamal Khashoggi murder was one of the biggest, indictments on, the modern stability of American democracy, right? The fourth branch, freedom of the press, the ability to review, to criticize, and hold government accountable through journalism. This is the only thing that Jamal Khashoggi was guilty of. The American government allowed him to be murdered with no repercussion, and now Donald Trump is pretending like it never happened.
Yeah,
I mean, this is huge. I mean, Doctor, you're a journalist, right? Like, your job is to inform people about what's happening, to shine light on what's going on in the dark.
Yeah,
right.
And not only, is the president of the United States, the sitting president of the United States, essentially saying it didn't happen, but he is contradicting United States intelligence agencies. Right. And so when you think about the many countries around the world that U.S. intelligence shares information with, the president's actions today was not an endorsement of the quality of and credibility of that intelligence. When we come forward, I want to dig in a little bit deeper on the visit to the White House of the Saudi Crown Prince. The Saudi Crown Prince making news today, saying that they're going to invest $1 trillion. It's $1 trillion with a T in the United States. What are they expecting in return? I have an idea that hits very close to home, especially for folks living and working in California, folks working in the news and entertainment industry. I have a theory here, and I want to bounce it off of Dr. Collins when we come forward. You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
The audience is listening, thought-provoking, eye-opening, heart-rendering. This is where authentic voices meet powerful discussions on culture, community, and change. This is where Black voices matter. He's breaking boundaries, amplifying diverse perspectives, and tackling the issues that matter most to you. You're inside A More Perfect Union with Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. A bill requiring the Justice Department to release all Jeffrey Epstein files passed the House with only one no vote.
The motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
It now heads to the Senate, where its future is unclear. President Trump says he'll sign it if it passes. Akron, Ohio Police Lieutenant Michael Murphy, who is Black, is suing the city for racial discrimination, claiming minority lieutenants are blocked from taking the captain's exam, while less experienced white lieutenants are allowed. He says he's been denied twice. And outgoing New York City Mayor Eric Adams, who is Black, is urging Israel's prime minister to attend Zohran Mamdani's inauguration, even though Mamdani said he'd have Benjamin Netanyahu arrested for alleged war crimes if he visits. Adams wrapped up his Israel trip focused on fighting anti-Semitism, noting that Jews were targeted in 54% of New York City hate crimes last year. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Slowing in Griffith Park, this is the 5 southbound leaving the 134 freeway. Delays taking you ahead all the way to the 605. It's also a tough drive along the 134. This is eastbound getting out of Burbank. We're seeing delays from Bob Hope Drive as you travel all the way to Glendale Avenue in Glendale. The 210 westbound slowing out of La Cañada from the 2. You're on the Briggs and stretches all the way to Hubbard Street. And the drive in Corona, 15 southbound, pushing back off the 91 all the way towards Temescal Canyon Road.
Santa may check his list twice, but Nissan quality checks every model thousands of times. Add a Nissan to your list to save big on Rogue, Pathfinder, Frontier, and the entire award-winning lineup at the Nissan Year-End event. Shop your Southern California Nissan dealers and NissanUSA.com today.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
LeBron has made one decision about his career. He confirmed that he will not be playing for the U.S. men's basketball team in the 2028 Summer Olympics here in L.A. LeBron mentioned his decision during the Mind the Game podcast hosted by former NBA player and coach Steve Nash. LeBron, who turns 41 on December 30th, would be 43 when the Olympics kick off in July of 2028. LeBron has played in 4 Olympics, winning 3 gold medals and a bronze. The Lakers are listing LeBron as questionable for tonight's home game against Utah. Top 5 women's college basketball teams in this week's top 25 rankings: UConn, South Carolina, 5-0 UCLA, Texas, and LSU. USC dropped out of the top 5 after losing to South Carolina Saturday night at Crypto.com. USC is 2-1. The Trojans are at home tonight against the University of Portland. UCLA's next game is Sunday afternoon at home against HBCU Southern University. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, y'all, come on. Pick up the drums.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we fight the power every day.
Yeah,
gotta give us what we want. Gotta give us what we need. Hey. I listen to KBLA and I love the commercials. I know what the commercials mean. I also, if I'm looking and trying to figure something out, I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, you know, every time they show a sporting event, they got the pharmaceutical companies back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it. Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power. Fight the power.
1 in 5 Black adults ages 70 and older is living with Alzheimer's disease, or AD, and the risk is twice as high compared to white adults. But AD isn't just forgetting a name or losing track of time. Signs of early AD could be repeating questions, missing appointments, or struggling with bills and daily tasks. These things aren't a normal part of aging. Here's the good news. Treatments are available that may help if AD is diagnosed early. If you notice changes in memory or daily routines, whether in yourself or a loved one, don't wait. Early diagnosis and intervention are key to managing AD effectively. To learn more about AD and a potential treatment option, visit treatalsearly.com. That's treatalzearly.com to learn more about the signs and symptoms and a potential treatment option. This message is brought to you by AZI.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. LA County's new Justice Care and Opportunities Department, or JCOD, is here to support justice-involved individuals and their families. The JCOD Support Center is now taking calls at 1-833-LACJCOD. That's 1-833-522-5263. Available 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. The Support Center is your one-stop shop for re-entry issues and court support. They offer court reminders, connections to local services, transportation assistance for housing, court appearances, and childcare. The JCOD hotline provides personalized help to connect you with services that you need. And don't forget to check out justiceconnect.org for more information. Remember, it's free and available every day at 1-833-522-5263. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to building a more perfect union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey. That gentleman to my right is Dr. Jonathan E. Collins. He's Associate Professor of Political Science at Columbia University. He's also a frequent contributor here on A More Perfect Union. Dr. Collins, today I was streaming the Oval Office, talk with President Trump and the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. And they made several headlines. Several headlines came out of their exchange. But I don't think what we're talking nearly enough about is the Crown Prince's pledge to invest $1 trillion, $1 trillion in the United States. It was previously announced that the Saudis were planning on investing $600 billion here in the United States. And then during that meeting, the Saudi Crown Prince, seemingly unprompted, said $1 trillion, in which case the president seized upon that and got him to restate his commitment. And in fact, it's gone up to $1 trillion. But you know, and I know, none of this is for free. This ain't no free money. We know that President Trump has already agreed to sell F-35 fighter jets to the kingdom, and in exchange for the investment of now $1 trillion. But what do you make of this, especially given who's going to be in the room at the state dinner that is taking place right now as we speak at the White House? According to reports from the New York Times, folks like Elon Musk, the world's richest man, is making his first visit to the White House since he left his role in the administration in a dramatic fashion. Also, David Ellison, the chief executive of Paramount Global, the parent company for CBS, MTV, and Hollywood's oldest movie studio. We all know that Mr. Ellison is trying to buy Warner Brothers Discovery in what could be a major multi-billion-dollar media deal. My theory, Dr. Collins, is that David Ellison is there to seal the deal. And that part of that $1 trillion investment in the United States is however much money it's going to take to join forces with David Ellison to purchase Warner Brothers Discovery. That includes CNN, what that means for the future of free speech, having Saudi Arabia owning a huge media footprint in America. It can't be too great. And that's putting it politely. But Dr. Collins, what do you make of this? As soon as Dr. Collins comes off of mute, we're going.
Oh, this is
there he is.
That's the remnant of the COVID-19 pandemic era. I don't miss. You're muted. You're on mute. No, I think you nailed it. So this is advertised as $1 trillion investment in the U.S. economy, which, for context, U.S. GDP is about $30 trillion a year. So, this is 1/30th of the entire GDP of the country that's potentially being invested by the Saudi prince. So it's not nothing, for sure. It's presented as something that is going to, as Reagan would say, trickle down. But as you can see from the conglomerate that's brought to the table, that's not the case. And also, if you look at the Saudi track record on the investments that they've been making in American-based ventures, they're not here to send money to the working class. They've made investments in gaming. They've made investments in sports. They've created their own golf league. Golf Live is an alternative to the PGA Tour, siphoned golfers away from the main circuit, and creating a circuit where they have to essentially abide by very specific rules set by the Saudi company that essentially operates this new league. They've made ventures in Hollywood, and now they're trying to make investments in owning technology companies and media companies. Listen, I'm not here to tell you that the world is being taken over, but if there's a movie that's going to show you the world being taken over, this is the opening scene.
That's right. That's right.
This is how it starts.
Folks, pay attention to this. To all of our leaders, learners, and listeners, particularly our home station in Los Angeles, where we know Warner Brothers Discovery has a huge footprint. We know there's a lot of folks whose jobs are going to be depending on who becomes the future owner of Warner Brothers Discovery, which includes CNN.
Yeah, and then what they're going to do, because they're investing in technology at the same time. So what did we just see the Screen Actors Guild fighting against? The use of AI in media and television as a way to circumvent the use of human actors. Well, what happens if there's a company that buys the production companies and is also making seismic investments in AI and artificial intelligence technology? You know, put 2 and 2 make 4 here, right? And that 4 spells chaos especially for Hollywood.
I mean, if anyone who works in Hollywood, anyone who works on the periphery of Hollywood, if you're concerned about the state of the industry right now, if Warner Brothers Discovery fell into the wrong hands, hands that have no commitment to making sure that working people, are a part of the future of Warner Brothers Discovery and all the media outlets that are part of it, this could be devastating to the region. This could be devastating to the industry, and it could be devastating to our constitutional free speech rights.
And as a consumer, right? This is not even just limited to folks who are navigating the entertainment industry as as talent. Who's tired of paying for streaming subscriptions? Right? Guess what's going to happen
when you ain't got nowhere else to go? Yes,
and the price of the brick is going up.
And they're gonna make you pay it.
The price of the brick is going up, right? Like they're not making this investment to lose money.
This ain't charity. This ain't charity. They're placing a bet, and they want a return on their investment, and they probably want it quick.
Yeah. So, what do you think Paramount Plus is going to cost in a couple of years?
Are we witnessing, Dr. Collins, are we witnessing an American president selling out the people of America in real time to the highest bidder?
In real time. That's America is for sale. It's funny that the tagline was America first in the campaign. It should have been America's for sale, right? Because we just showing that thing in front of whoever wants to see it, and we are asking for the highest bidder. That's what Trump essentially has us doing right now, and it's disgusting.
And this is a part of why the stakes are so high as we head into the 2026 election. This is part of the reason why there are forces out there that want to make it more difficult for us to vote. And quite frankly, don't want us to vote at all. They want to intimidate us when we come to the polls, because as long as they're able to maintain their grip on power, as long as the majority of the Republicans in Congress do what Trump says to do, as long as that continues to happen, then he's going to continue to be able to, wheel and deal as he chooses with whomever he chooses. Who cares what their record is on human rights? Who cares what the U.S. intelligence agencies have said about their involvement in not just the killing of, but the killing and dismembering of a journalist? Yeah. Never mind that, right? Yeah. And the far-reaching consequences of this.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't even get to the part
where for consumers. This ain't for play.
No, it's not. I mean, Saudi Arabia is top 3 in the world in executions, executing its own people. What do you think that means if there's a takeover in the U.S.?
You think they're gonna let anybody get up there on CNN if they're in control of CNN or any other media outlet and exercise their free speech rights? In Saudi Arabia, they don't recognize free speech.
the only exercise you're going to get is running for your life.
That's right. And so we the people, we got to wake up. We got to wake up. This is the Molly, you in danger, girl moment. Right. We're not in the business here, of being, drama queens and kings. We're not over here, trying to be hyper partisan, but we're here sharing in real time what's been reported. The Saudi Crown Prince was in the Oval Office today. He said he's investing $1 trillion in the United States. We also know that David Ellison, who just purchased CBS Paramount, Skydance, his company just purchased CBS Paramount. They're now putting in a bid to purchase Warner Brothers Discovery, which includes CNN and other outlets. And so that's another problem. Talk about too big to fail. When's the last time you saw a media company or any company that big? Earlier today, Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts, she made a claim. And in a post on social media, she was very clear that if Paramount Skydance merges with Warner Brothers, one giant media conglomerate would control, listen to this, y'all, HBO, CNN, CBS News, Showtime, TBS, Comedy Central, TNT, Paramount Plus, TLC, HGTV, Nickelodeon, CBS Sports, Food Network, Discovery Channel, the CW Network, BET, MTV, VH1, and many more. It is a terrible, terrible deal. That's what Elizabeth Warren has said. And anybody who's paying attention has got to know this can't be good for consumers. This can't be good for free speech. This can't be good, having a company that exists that is this big and has control over this much of the media ecosystem. This is not a good thing. And call me crazy. I don't think I am. I think part of the conversation that is happening tonight, right now, as we speak, at this White House state dinner for the Saudi Crown Prince, is around getting support to be able to put in a winning bid for Warner Brothers Discovery. Dr. Collins? For folks who are streaming, they just see Dr. Collins. Yeah. He's in his Unk era, and he's just sitting there shaking his head.
But no, it's important to watch. And so this is what's going to happen. We need to clip this up, because when this happens, we need the world to see that you saw this coming, that you predicted this acquisition. And and it's incredibly dangerous, because the revolution may not be televised, but the destruction might be. Right? If the Saudi prince and the Saudi royal family has direct control over the content that we consume, both for politics and for just sheer entertainment, right? Like, this is how we enter an era of mind control. This is how we enter an era in which freedom of thought is now compromised, where we can potentially be controlled by the images and the ideas that are circulating on our screens. And so, this could be the beginning of a very, very, very dark period, unless we wake up and do whatever we can do to put pressure, especially on Congress, to step in and do something to prevent this from happening.
If you think the algorithm has us in a chokehold right now, fasten your seatbelt, because this kind of control over the industry, it won't be good. It won't be good. When we come forward more with Dr. Jonathan Collins, Republicans have played with fire and they have gotten burned. GOP control of the House is at risk after the courts blocked these Texas maps. We're going to give you the skinny on that and more when we come forward. You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
Striving to make America a nation as good as its promise. This is A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Days after the Eaton fire devastated entire neighborhoods in Pasadena and Altadena, Black Freedom Fund, an organization that invests in leaders and organizations transforming Black communities, established the Black LA Relief and Recovery Fund. The Black LA Relief and Recovery Fund is supporting local organizations, providing direct resources to families, and making sure that recovery reflects the needs and voices of the people who live there. For many, the journey to rebuild is just beginning, and the Black Freedom Fund is committed to being with them every step of the way. Stand with Dina. Donate by texting Black LA to the number 707070. That's Black LA to 707070. Together, we can help our neighbors rebuild their homes, lives, and hope. The Black Freedom Fund is proud to sponsor Conversation Live, Altadena Rising, with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has WorkSource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewdd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
We face tragedy, but we don't fall into despair. We continue our work to build a more perfect union.
You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. It's time for the quiet part out loud. Listen, LA Times reporting that the GOP-controlled House is at risk after the court blocks these Texas maps. In other words, they played with fire and they got burned. Federal judges blocked Texas from using its newly redrawn congressional maps for 2026, ruling that the GOP-led redistricting showed substantial evidence of racial gerrymandering. The decision is a major blow to Trump and the Republicans seeking 5 additional House seats. Remember that? Trump called up Governor Abbott and said, give me 5 on it. Put 5 on it. The state is pledging to appeal in response. You might remember California voters this November approved new congressional district maps that favor Democrats. And so, Dr. Collins, I know you've been studying gerrymandering rather closely in recent years. What do you make of this latest plot twist in Trump's attempt to maintain his grip of power on Congress, only to see the courts throw cold water on that?
Well, it actually fits within a long line of a silver lining that I think we can take away from the first year of the Trump administration, which is that the courts are not here to play with you, right? The courts have actually, there have been these critical moments where the courts have stepped in, and they've been the only thing resisting Donald Trump's ability and tendency to be what Dave Chappelle calls a habitual line stepper, right? And what we saw with the Texas map issue is just the latest, is just the latest instance of this. I mean, this was so ridiculously and incredibly partisan that honestly, any judge with a pulse and half of a conscience would take this map and throw it out. It's ridiculous. I mean, everything from how it blatantly removes Democratic voters from congressional representation, to even just looking at the actual figure and design of some of the congressional districts. And granted, gerrymandering is known for being a process where, we draw congressional districts to be incredibly, let's say, arbitrary. But what we saw in Texas was just ridiculous. I mean, you couldn't even identify the shapes. Literally the only guiding factor in determining the twists and turns of the maps were the addresses of Democratic voters. I mean, again, this is just it was so blatantly disrespectful that I give the judges credit. I guess I think it's a district appeals court, and they struck it down 2-1. I give them credit for doing that, but at the same time, Texas, why y'all playing in our faces?
Right. Well, look, they're not just playing in our faces; they're playing in the faces of educators and legal scholars who have warned that the Texas bid would invite accusations and legal challenges of racial gerrymandering that California's maps would not. And so maybe they weren't so busy trying to ban books and actually picked up a book. Maybe they weren't so busy, being at war with the folks that make our higher education system the envy of the world. Maybe if they actually consulted them, they wouldn't find themselves in this madness. But we'll have to end this here. My thanks to Dr. Jonathan E. Collins. He's Associate Professor of Political Science over at Columbia University, frequent contributor here. And always appreciate your help separating the facts from the fiction.
An honor. Always love being here.
Absolutely. When we come forward in our next hour, you don't want to miss my conversation with Chris Matthews. Yeah, as in the former host of Hardball on MSNBC, which is now MS Now. We're talking about his new book on Bobby Kennedy, not RFK Jr., on his daddy, Bobby Kennedy, a book that his mama, Ethel Kennedy, participated in. You don't want to miss that conversation when we come forward. You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Black Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson has confirmed that an attempted arson took place at City Hall. Someone set a fire outside the building Friday, then fled, and it's still at large.
While we may have strong disagreements on various issues, there is never any acceptable use of violence in a democracy.
The blaze caused minor exterior damage, but burned out on its own in no